Let's bring in the Federal Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg. Treasurer, good morning. So what extra help is on offer?
Nice to be with you, Michael. Well, we currently have a small and medium-sized business loan scheme, and that's already provided more than 70,000 loans worth more than $6 billion, Michael. But in order to receive that loan, you had to be on JobKeeper in the March quarter. Well, we'll remove that requirement, and so therefore small and medium-sized businesses will be able to get access to loans worth up to $5 million for up to 10 years, with the first 2 years repayment free. This is going to be of great benefit to small business, and we heard from the Council of Small Business that this will help their members reopen and rebuild. The money can be used for working capital. The money can be used to expand their operations, for example, purchasing machinery and equipment, or indeed refinancing existing loans.
Okay, now I want to talk about the vaccine rollout. We do know that it is now mandatory for aged care workers to have at least one jab by the middle of September, which is only, 2.5 weeks away. The Guardian this morning is reporting that based on government figures, only 19% of aged care homes across Australia are close to fully vaccinating their staff, or at least giving them one jab. There's no way that target's going to be met, is there?
Well, obviously this was agreed again through National Cabinet, and the states were required to put in place their own public health orders requiring that. And I think it's important that all states and territories, and of course the Commonwealth, are working together to ensure that that goal is achieved. I understand progress has been made, but we would all want that progress to be even quicker, because they're the most vulnerable cohorts. Now, we know that with over 70s, around 85% have currently now received the jab. We know with over 50s, around 75% have received the jab, and first jabs to the eligible population more broadly is over 50%. So we are making progress with the vaccination rollout.
But these aged care workers were meant to be vaccinated in April. Back in April. And there's no way, and there's a long distance between, I mean, you're the Treasurer, you know maths, there's a long distance between 19% and 100% in 2 weeks' time.
Well, as I understand it, they have been making progress with respect to that particular rollout. I know only a few states have actually mandated it under their public health orders. I think it was South Australia as being one, I think Western Australia was another. It's important that all the states take that action as agreed at National Cabinet to do so, and that will be obviously important, not just for the aged care workers' own health, but of course the people that they seek to support.
Western Australian Premier Mark McGowan has hit back at the Prime Minister's reference to that kids movie Croods, and as the Premier says, implying in doing so that Western Australians are like cave people. He said that was an odd thing for the Prime Minister to say. Was it?
Well, again, he was referencing a movie, and I think he was making a light-hearted point there.
We all know who he was talking about. It was people in the states of WA and Queensland.
Look, he was making a light-hearted point about what is a serious issue, namely that we need to stick to the plan that was agreed at National Cabinet. Now, that plan, as agreed, is at a 70 and 80% vaccination. We start to see the transmissibility of the virus reduce, the number of people who get serious illness reduce, and therefore we can safely reopen. And we've heard from the head of the Doherty Institute themselves saying that whether you start at 30 cases or 800 cases, you can reopen safely. And I say to you, Michael, if we don't open up at 70 and 80%, then what is that number? When do our small businesses reopen? When do our kids go back to school? When do we go to the funerals and the weddings of loved ones? When do we move more freely across the country? We need to give people hope, and the plan, based on the best medical advice possible, does give us that hope.
OK, you've got some persuasion to do clearly with WA and Queensland. Hey, before you go, now you've moved into the lodge with the Prime Minister to ride out the ACT lockdown. How's that working? Do you share the dishes?
We have been, actually, it's just the two of us, Michael, so he's been on the scrubbing brush. I've been using the microwave. We've both been, cooking up our bolognese and our chicken schnitzel. So it's been quite entertaining. It's been good company, and of course we're doing that because we can't live our lives normally with the ACT in lockdown, and it's been a good opportunity to talk a lot of shop as well.
When he ducks out, do you secretly measure the drapes?
No, I don't.
But save time for later.
I have to tell you, if only those walls could talk. It's got a great history of great prime ministers from both sides of the political divide occupying it, and it's been renovated, I think, very appropriately, and I'm really glad it's been maintained because it's such an important part of our national history.
Out of time, Treasurer, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.